Welcome back to the most professional StarCraft 2 with the most professional StarCraft 2 player. The Zerg in the blue, the finisher. It's Serral. But his challenger, the only Terran player to defeat Serral even once in 2023, and not coincidentally, the reigning DreamHack champion, the Frenchman from Team Liquid. It's Clem. A best of 5 Terran versus Zerg. It doesn't get any higher level than this. And Clem, well, not the least bit surprised to see him starting off with the early Reaper pressure. Just trying to keep the Zerg in check, keeping tabs on what they're doing, what they're up to, and what's in the production tab. Giving just enough time for me to beg you for likes and subscribes. And Jimmy, what are we? 1,252 likes on this series, on this cast, on this experience. And I'll cast another series. And I'll probably do it anyways, but thank you for watching. Hopefully you've had a good day so far. It's Serral versus Clem, so I'm going to be a bit presumptuous and say, hopefully it's about to get just a little bit better. But, Terran versus Clem, the last time they faced, got the better of Serral with some of the most iconic games. I've never seen Serral not close a game out with double the supply. But Clem managed to hold on and turn it around, and that led to his upset victory at DreamHack Atlanta. And it wasn't a fluke. He was clearly playing that late game Terran in a way that even Serral struggled to contend with. And Brenda? What? Terran, what? It's just Reapers. Don't get excited. Well, the Queen's coming down to defend. I was too busy with that diatribe to deal with. Wow, he's actually committed the Queen down. Another Brenda bounce over to the side, bouncing around the hatchery. Would rather the Queens die than the hatchery, which is pretty brutal, but also Serral has made, and this has to be an active calculation. Those Reapers would have at least delayed the hatchery. 2 Queens cost 300 minerals. Hatchery costs 300 minerals. Queens do not cost larvae. I mean, that's kind of a key point. In fact, they produce it. So, I think Serral actually willing. I don't think that's a mistake. I think he's willing to lose. Serral, the CEO of Larva Management, as we know. He's willing to lose 2 Queens in order to get that hatch up on time, as opposed to being forced to delay it by the early Threepers. Because in the long run, that hatchery is going to pay off with dividends. So, the Queens can be produced again, but the hatchery is something you can only build in one spot at one time. Another Queen down! Leave it to the Frenchman to guillotine those Queens, but another... Oh my god. Well, he gets a Reaper, some revenge. The Zerglings are waiting. Oh, come on. No, not another one. Well, that's a bit much, but... And gets a drone on the way out. Serral will clean it up. He lost 4 Queens. And a couple Zerg. You know, that's actually crazy. Serral would rather, and I have to think this is mostly an active decision. Yeah, sure, Clem's micro is near impeccable, but instead of losing the hatchery... Oh, that's an unforced error right there, but instead of losing the hatchery, drones or a bunch of Zerglings, things which produce or cost larvae, instead, Serral chooses to lose the Queens. And we'll see if it pays off in the long run. But those Queens can be reproduced rather cheaply. And now, 2 Hellions getting picked off by the Zerglings means any sort of follow-up attack is going to be blunted somewhat. And Clem is clearly opting for a more late-game option. Opting for an option? Genius. That's why I'm the... Edit that out, Jimmy. 2 engineering base at the back. 3rd command center already done. Overlord actually hidden behind it. So, we'll see absolutely everything. As will the other Overlord to the north. Sees the Liberator there. Serral's at 56 drones, adding more on. How many Zerglings? Only 16 on the field. The Hellion count isn't so high that it's an existential threat to the mineral lines. 16 Zerglings, though, won't necessarily stop them if they're committed to the idea. The Queens need to be involved. Upgrades? About even. Clem and Serral both getting 1-1 at very similar times. The upgrades take exactly the same amount of time, all the way through up to 3-3. So you can kind of get an idea of who's going to have an upgrade advantage, which is such a big deal with Terran versus Zerg. The Marines fire incredibly quickly, so those weapon upgrades kick in really fast, whereas at the same time, The melee for banelings especially, and the carapace for zerglings against the marines, and banelings to an extent, makes a huge difference in the fights. So much of Terran versus Zerg is based around those upgrade timings, and who has an advantage, and what they can do to counteract their opponents. And in this case, we don't really have to have that conversation because they're both exactly the same time. Lair's on the way. Gold base taken for Serral. He's got 74 drones. 2 more hatcheries as well. Wait, does that include the gold base finishing up there? I believe it just did. And a macro hatch. Is that at the natural? Yeah. Whoa, that's actually out in the middle of the map. Closer to where you usually want the Zerglings. It's just Queens here to defend, but plenty of energy. And the Transfuse is going to keep them intact for now. Where are the Zerglings to deal with this? There are a couple Widow Mines. Another Queen taken out, but the Zerglings will close in. Gonna try to drag the mine. Wow, how does he do that? He split off one Zerg. Somehow the Widow Mine only hits like 1 or 2 Zerglings. He picks out which Zergling is going to get hit first. Clem doesn't retarget because it's almost impossible to do so mid-fight. And diffuses the mine with relatively little damage. Liberator still gonna find quite a, don't say disgusting, annoying, no, a well-positioned angle in order to do the most damage. And that means Serral will have to reposition the spawn. Now there's a double drop, keeping him busy here. Caught between a Liberator and a Medevac plays most of these units. Another Widow Mine, looking for damage. So far, still... Well, he leads it into the drones, unfortunately, and that means 10 drones are going to go down. Another Widow Mine will burrow. Spore Crawler provided detection, and Clem will be driven out, but he's already done the damage. He killed a bunch of the Zerglings and 10 drones. Baneling speed still not done, and Hellbats indicating there is already an armory done. Well, 2-2 would have also done that. Looks like the upgrades for 2-2 still running along nicely for both sides. But Serral being whittled down here, and Clem is starting to gain momentum as it's getting harder and harder to engage the Terran army. He's keeping the medevacs. Well, he's about to run out of energy here. Got to be a little careful. Tries to drag out the mons onto the medevacs. Not going to be enough. 4 drones down. Is it a Liberator? Oh, but Banelings on the other side. Forces Clem to lift, and the Banelings looking for... Yeah, just goes for the sensor tower at the end of the day. Drilling clause is completed for the mines. And Clem is able to pick up and get out, keeping the pressure on, though. It's very important for Clem to try to limit the bases and limit the creep spread, so that way he can put together reasonable attacks. If the creep spread gets too far across the map, it becomes almost impossible to really do these medevac drops without Serral already knowing about it beforehand, or at least moving units into position with the extra speed. But Serral is keeping Clem busy on the other side as well. Counterattack, kills some SCVs, forces the rest to pull away. Widow Mines microing against it. Serral finds the time to do this, and now the Widow Mines have to be unburrowed in order to keep them from triggering on his own SCVs. Wouldn't it be nice if they one-shot them? But 6 more SCVs down. 2-2 will be slightly quicker here for Serral, but he doesn't have an infestation pit done, which means if Clem starts his 3-3 immediately, he will be able to have an advantage at that maxed out upgrade timing. And indeed, the moment +2 weapons is done, in comes +3 infantry, but he doesn't quite have enough for +3 armor yet. So things will calm down ever so slightly, as Serral has essentially taken his side of the map, started a hive, and Clem, on the other hand, has a 4th base done. Ooh, Widow Mine tries to split off one Zergling, decides to just, kill it. Also works. Good target fire with the Planetary Fortress, taking out a lot of the Banelings. The Planetary will go down, but kind of a costly fight there from Serral. Does give 14 SCVs, so... And the Zerglings. Clem without much back on defense. Widow Mine slams in, but Clem is forced to continue pulling back. And every time he does this, Serral consolidates more of his position. He's got 82 drones. He's got at least 4 mining bases right now. The main base as well, so like 4.5. That puts his income at a significant lead. Clem can drop a few mules, but because Serral was able to limit the 4th base, big mine hit will immediately cause Serral to turn around. He splits off a few Zerglings. Gonna lead the charge. Wow, it's just Minesweeper out there. Trying to drag it. Oh, well, that did not go great. Widowmine on burrows. Serral's Overseer control. We saw Solar versus Clem not too long ago, where Solar ended up losing somewhere around 30, 40 Overseers on this map. Something ridiculous. Serral has lost 1 so far. But it's that attention to detail that adds up over time. And, well, Clem is about to have +3 infantry weapons. Armor isn't too far off. Serral just started. Ooh, and Widowmine drives the point home. Only 67 SCVs, which means Clem's army supply is currently higher than Serral can build without doing some fancy extractor tricks. There are Vipers on the way, +1 ranged attack, but this is Serral's most vulnerable timing for the near future. When Clem has these upgrades and this army supply, and Serral does not have Hive Tech kicking in yet. The Queens will politely yet firmly ask the medevacs to leave, but there's nothing polite about Terrans. Widowmine from downtown. Clem is maxed out. He's starting to build some ghosts. He's adding in the Marauders. And with it, he's got to get as much done as possible. Some of the Marines left behind in the main. Serral's starting to bank money while he's maxed out. There was a lurker den somewhere in here. The Bio still moving up. And Vipers have plenty of energy. I think enough at least for a parasitic bomb. Adrenal Glands is about to complete. Serral has kind of, you can feel he's kind of pulled back and waited for that Hive Tech to kick in. And Clem hasn't really been able to take advantage of it, because once Serral had all his forces on defense, it's been harder and harder for Clem to push through. Widowmines are great on defense or in the middle of the map, but actually attacking into an entrenched position, especially against someone who micros like Serral, well, a bit harder. And potentially a Nidus with lurkers in towards the main. Serral taking the northern attack path. Clem not burrowing those mines. Gonna regret it immediately. The mines are gonna get huge hits across the board, including onto the Terran army. Serral loses a lot there. Parasitic bomb. But here come the Hydras. He's gonna clean up more. He's only lost 2 Overseers. What is... I don't know. And when he does lose them, it feels like it's for a purpose. Nidus Worm at the back of the main. Now this is a pivotal moment where not only could he get critical damage done, but even the distraction of the Nidus might be enough. Infestors on the way, the Serral Festers, but the mines? Clem still keeping so much pressure on. Serral not able to expand cleanly here, and now Clem has taken that gold base at the center. Pulls back with the medevac, starting to build more. He's getting building armor, +3 plating, fusion core, another starport. Adaptive Talon's now done. Infestors, get over here! Full medevac down! It wasn't Ghost, thankfully. I think it was Marauders there. But what a choke point. Makes it impossible for Serral to move through, even with the Lings and Banes. Another Nidus, though. Then the Lurkers made it out, and they're on top of the depots. Will slice through, may even supply block Clem awkwardly here. The armory is vulnerable. I don't know if that's the only one. If it is, Widowmines are going to become that much easier to deal with. And indeed, Clem is supply block dealing with this. Stims forward, but Serral into the escape Nidus, gets the Overseer and all the Lurkers out, extracts himself into the Nidus at the natural. Slicing through the SCVs, Clem scrambling to defend. Serral is consolidating an army at the front while Clem is dealing with all of this. The Lings and Banes are headed in towards the planetary. He realizes with no defenses, but the Fungal Serral! Oh my god! A comprehensive dismantling. We gotta go to the... I gotta see the Serral cam during this. Before we move on, that was... Alright, epilepsy warning. Alright, getting the injects. He's... Currently, the Lurkers are in the main. He sees that coming in. Already setting up the Lingbane. And into the natural. Right outside the sensor tower range of the rest of the army. Drops a Nidus. Moves the Infestor into position. Overseer moving in for a potential tertiary Nidus there. Sees the planetary. Sees, oh, maybe I don't need it. Uses the changelings. And pops up. He was just in the right spot at the most right time. And Serral dismantles Clem in game number 1. Wow. Clem not playing bad by any means. I don't think there's anywhere you can really point to a mistake out of Clem. Or at least not a significant one that really changed the course of the game, but it went from near even and tenuous to a Serral victory in less than 20 seconds there, through Serral's execution of the triple-pronged attack with the fungals underneath. Just one fungal. But putting the fun in fungal, indeed. Game 2. On probably the toughest map for Zerg against Terran in the current map pool. At least the map I've seen Serral lose the most on, which is, you know, a rare sight in general, but hard led. There just isn't that much space to work with. It's hard to go around the Terran when their bases are sometimes near your doorstep, especially that center base being just a hop, skip, and a stressful walk down a ramp to yours. So we'll see what Clem has here. If he has anything planned. Serral is going to be going for some pretty standard business. He opts for the hatchery first, and the pool behind. Two queens on the way. It's the part we just read out the production tab. It says pretty much the same thing it always does. Third, he doesn't have enough for the hatch, right? It's a fake. Well, it's not really a fake here from Serral, but he knows he's not going to get the base, so he's already spending the money he would have used for a hatch, and he's trying to bait the Reaper. Clem, a cheeky move. The Zerglings gets one. And Serral actually managed to slip to the other side for a hatchery, which somehow he got a drone out. Oh! Knocks the drone out of the sky, at least a consolation prize there. And Clem going for 3cc. Starport's on the way. Gonna be a more conventional, kind of 1-1-1, high-tech style. Out of Clem here. High-tech is in access to all your early game tech. I doubt we'll see battle cruisers, but one can dream. The queens appreciating that they're all intact, at least to start the game for now. Honestly, I think the sacrifices, the brave sacrifices our queens made, paid off in that last game. There was no real vulnerable point where it felt like Serral was struggling to hold on to his base. And it didn't feel like he ran out of queens either, did it? So instead of losing the bases or the Zerglings, clearly, a sacrifice is not in vain. Speaking of Zerglings, a couple make it in towards the natural Clem with nothing to wall off, relying on units producing. And a Zergling gets into the main, because of course it does. And gets a full scout. Sees a Tech Lab starport. I don't know if he saw the Tech Lab researching Cloak. I think Clem started it afterwards. But either way, I'm sure Serral anticipating that. Banshees, quite a strong tool. Expensive, but there's no more reliable way to defend yourself against counterattacks. As well. Oh my god. How does it? I don't know. He paid someone off to keep the depot down. The Zergling runs in right as Clem was micro on the other side. Just the timing impeccable. And adding on the production. Layer on the way. Quite a quick layer here. I think more for access to overseers, making sure you can absolutely shut down those cloaked banshees, and you got a lot of options with the lair as well. Baneling nest on the way. Baneling speed, probably the most significant one. The Hellions, is he gonna go? Oh, he's really thinking about it, but the queens close in from both sides. A lair is done. Banshee starting to chip away at the hatch. Uses the cloak. Overseer on the way, transfuse. Oh my. 4! I think he got 4 with a grenade there. Maybe a new record? But here comes the Overseer. And I'm sure Clem watching. Oh, it'd get pretty suspicious. The vet, get off my creep! The Queen's severely discouraging those Banshees from further activities. And honestly, just in time. Another 30 seconds, probably less. Oh, one of the Queens immolated. But overall, Serral has deflected and defended. And now he's sitting on 66 drones, going up to 76. Clem will have an upgrade advantage. He has kept control of the situation. Oh my god, that was a change. Where'd he go? A scan will spot the lair, which he already knew about. The Baneling nest with speed, which it's important to be sure. I think mostly scouting to see if he's thinking about mutas or hydras or any sort of risking it with any sort of lisk. So, but no, Serral going to go just like last game with the mass laying bane. A very technical strat that it seems simple, but it's anything but. It is incredibly taxing mechanically. But if you're able to pull it off, it allows you the most access to teching up as quick as possible, which is likely why Serral preferring it here. Hydra is down on the way. He sees the mines. A better counter than most things. Widow mine. Queen gun down. Another Widow mine at the back. Serral diffuses. Single Zergling at literally the cheapest price to pay. How are these Banelings here? Beautiful split by Clem. The Banshees as well helping out. Somehow Banelings found their way inside the defenses. Combat shield done, 1-1 done. These Marines just peaked. And now the Queens know. More Banelings coming in, but he's gunning down. Queens gets an Overseer. Gonna make things even more difficult. And Clem starting to really ramp up the pressure here. Serral at 81 drones. He's got 4 bases, but he doesn't have 1-1. Does Clem have an armory? He does. Needs to start 2-2 as soon as possible to maintain that upgrade advantage. +2 starts. Baneling drops. Serral just finding new and creative ways to work into old strategies in a way that makes them seem standard. Oh, but another set of attacks. Widow Mine took a bite out of the Ling Bane. You can only do so much at once, and this hatchery is under fire, and I'm being literal about that. Another attack. Guns down. Oh my god, and the Widow Mines take big bites. At the same... He saved the hatch! What a save! I don't know how he does it, but managed to roll through with the Banelings, and Clem bit off just a tiny bit more than he could chew. And with it, Serral saves the hatch, and now here comes the Bane drop. Honestly, there could be nothing in there, and the threat would still be enough, but Clem maintains his supply. There's enough Marines in the main. Indeed, the Banelings are revealed. Not going to end up doing much, but something else to keep Clem busy. Could we get again on the hatch? It's been transfused once. The Widow Mine, okay hit, but the Bane drop looking pretty good. Nobody looking on this side. Serral just queues it up, only ends up killing 5 SCVs. More at the back. I think a building was destroyed there. It's, no, I take it back. Not a single building yet. Really on either side, but more Widow Mines. Oh my god, so stressful when he does that, but it's the most efficient way to make sure you got the right Zergling picked out. You just have to trust yourself that you can micro that Zergling away in the, like, let's see, give or take 0.1 seconds you have to do so. Certainly feels like that on the receiving end. But Clem keeping the pressure on yet again. He hasn't lost too much at home. He's still got 70 SCVs, which is perfectly fine. Dropping on both sides of the main. But the Queen shut down. Brenda has her revenge. And another medevac as well. Clem, I think, overtaxing himself with these medevacs and ends up losing a couple. Serral refuses to lose this base. Clem may force the issue. More Banelings taken out by just triggering them on top of it or letting them die. He wants the hatchery so bad, he gets it. But at what cost? Actually, Serral not able to do much return damage. But Serral has already expanded to the left side. The pressure is on, though. He doesn't have an infestation pit done. Reed doesn't have 2-2 done. Clem is building up the advantages. So even though Serral has held on, his creep spread is mediocre. He hasn't really done any counter damage. His upgrades are behind, and his unit composition is so-so at best. Hydraling Bane is great, but against even economy Terran with better upgrades, it's not going to be enough as time goes on. Alright, more Widow Mines. A few of the Widow Mines going to get caught out before triggering here. Melee attacks level 2 about to complete for Serral. The army is forced. Clem with some uncharacteristic miss micro. They're losing so many of the mines. Another medevac gunned down into the lava. And more banelings rolling in as Serral boxes Clem out of his base. And now, Hydraling Bane in the center of the map. Gonna just try to chase this down, but that's so many baneling. It's far too many to try to target fire. Widow Mines not doing enough here. The baneling count is not quite high enough. Serral not gonna... he gets caught going the wrong way. And a decent win there for Clem at all, forcing Serral back. But somehow Serral has turned the tables on him. Even though this should be Clem's time to really get momentum back in this game, Serral has managed to deflect every drop and defend every attack. Another medevac. How many medevacs have died? Only 4. It really feels like more. It's very dramatic when a medevac dies. Make that 5 now, but... And some more badly bruised. Hive is about to finish. Infestors and Burrow on the way. And that definitely is the next phase of danger for Clem. But another drop coming in towards the north. Hydraling. Counter-attack here. Overseers. In position. Diffuses a mine, but Clem... Oh, Serral still dealing with these. And Clem is pulling back. He managed to cancel one of the bases. More banelings rolling through into the mineral line. We'll get some of the SCVs. 7 so far. Clem has a few SCVs to burn. That's a bit unfortunate for them at the back. But Serral has successfully survived until Hive Tech. And now, does he have any Vipers? No. But he does have 2 Infestors somewhere. Probably in the least convenient position for Clem. Another base canceled. The Widow Mine takes a huge bite out of the Zerglings, and the Marines are able to retreat down the ramp and gun down some more. 3 more command centers on the way for Clem. The double Liberator. Gonna ping cushion the drones. Actually overkilling a bit there. Forced to pull back. No Vipers. Means the Liberators may have some positions that they're just... Oh, no, no, no! Clem losing track of it here. A lot of the medevacs in a tough position. Many of them badly bruised. Here comes the Infestor as well. I'm sure Serral waiting for the opportunity. Waits until he's a bit out of position and gets the fungal, rolls in and melts away the Marines. The Widow Mines on top of the Bio Army. And again, Serral has turned the tables. He's flipped it into Clem's face and he's in full retreat. The Orbital in flight. The SCVs have been slaughtered. And Serral opens up a 30 supply lead and then starts the Lurkers. There are ghosts on the way. Clem still has plenty of SCVs, but the momentum has yet again shifted towards the finisher. He didn't even need Vipers to do it this time. That one Infestor in the right place at the very right time. In a way only Serral seems to be able to do. The Widow Mines. Ooh. Serral still vulnerable to him. There is... Oh, the Lurkers. I assume they have range. They actually have both range. No adaptive terror. Anyways. Zerglings coming in, using the Overseers to draw the Widow Mine hits, obliterating the medevacs with his own Widow Mines, and just like that, Serral. Clem killed 2 medevacs. Serral killed 1 in that last fight. But Serral again is able to turn most of Clem's advantages into the opposite. And again, he comes through up to 0. I had to figure out if I could count for a moment there. God. Clem keeping the pressure on, but it just turned so quickly. We can see Serral setting it up. Clem, I'm sure, knows what the threats are, but accounting for all of them simultaneously, well, continuing about your game plan, seems to be a lot to ask. God. After seeing Clem take Solar to task and essentially going toe-to-toe, the difference is Overseers, which is so boring. Okay, not boring, but like, the difference between Serral and Solar. The difference between Serral and everyone else. Overseer management and larva management. Keeping those overseers in the right place at the right time, getting just enough scouting, not having to spend another 50 minerals and 50 gas, and potentially for more overlords as well, getting supply block. He just always has the detection and the scouting. Feels like you can't really sneak anything on him because he's already figured it out before you even decided to do it. I'm trying to... I think it's even more minimalist. In the series at DreamHack Atlanta, Serral was a lot more focused on spellcasters, having a dozen infestors around the map. Vipers, things that are expensive and vulnerable. But why make many infestor when one infestor do trick? And other quotes I made up from Serral. And the timing as well. Like, I want to point out how he controls them. He doesn't just pop them up. He sets it up, waits till the army engages. So that way they're targeting not the infestor, which gives him that split second of time to unburrow and fungal, which you do need to survive for at least like half a second before you're able to do so. And so far, it's that little detail, which it's already hard enough to get the infestor in position reliably, but getting the infestor in position where it won't pop up and die immediately to 24 marines is the icing on the fungal on the marine cake. Doesn't make any sense. All right, well, the queen ambles back to the creep. Sorry. The queen stoically is bounced away from the creep tumor as the oncologist Clem is able to remove it relatively cleanly. Now the Reaper Hellion. Honestly, I don't know. That is such... Where's the weakness? That's the terrifying part of Serral. Do you cheese him? He always gets a Zergling in. His overlords are always in the right spot. And that means he can get in with Zerglings. I'm surprised he didn't go towards the main. But he saw such an opportunity with the SCVs. And now on the other side, may get the Reaper, almost. But already you can't be losing SCVs right now. Oh, come on. Oh no, this is a disaster. 9 SCVs dead. It's not like Serral went all in here. He would have made these Zerglings almost certainly out of their way. But Clem got a little greedier and sent all his Hellions out. He's gonna try to poke at the drones now, but you cannot. The only saving grace is that Serral we saw it. Take notes, jot this down. Serral got actually supply blocked when he lost that Overlord. He didn't have any OVs in production, and he was supply blocked for like 3 seconds, and then he started some OVs. But still, it happened. That's the best. But wait, there's more! The Zerglings come in again. The Hellions committed out of position. Clem doubling down with the greed. And the Zerglings will kill the Marine. Oh my god, he just leaves. Serral. Oh, here come the fact that the Hellions came back gives Serral the space to build another dozen drones. This hasn't been particularly cheap. Zerglings, believe it or not, cost a lot of larvae. So, the drone count isn't so out of control, but he's keeping control of the situation for sure. In fact, Serral has better upgrades, but the Hellions this time, he's anticipated it. Another round of Zerglings. These ones will be shut down. And Clem does have 3 command centers. 4th, Atchery is on the way already for Serral, but the Liberator Siege is up specifically for that queen. Spore Crown. Reroutes. Sieges it up just so it doesn't get pushed out of position. In case you use the select army hotkey. Don't be too careful. Well, things will slow down. And actually, despite the success in the early game, this is the double-edged sword of early aggression for Zerg. Which it actually has held Serral's tech back in his economy. He's at 67 to 57 workers, which isn't a significant advantage because mules exist, and each mule worth about 5 workers of mining. Serral still has a slight advantage, but Clem has his production online. He has 1-1, a little behind, but he's got an armory already started. Serral does finish his lair. Well, Queens will take out the Liberator. Serral does finish his lair. He starts Bane speed. But there's definitely an opportunity here for Clem to put the pressure on. Widowmine gets 5 kills. Did Clem realize, though? He's got everything in the center of the map. The Zerglings get in. And Clem not paying any attention. The Widowmine is actually going to be targeted down. More SCVs, but the Zerglings and the SCVs body block them out. And actually the Hellions come back to defend Serral. That counterattack didn't do anything. Serral ends up losing 36 lings. He kills what looks to be a huge amount of units, but that Liberator, a few Hellions, a Widowmine. But you know, the Widowmine was spotted before. Is he actually going to use an Overlord to tank it? Maybe. But the armory's already done. Plus 2 attack starts. Serral's already got his 2-2 started. Of course he does. And that center of the map is such a tough position to engage for the Zerg. Jammed into that watchtower. Banelings, ready to roll in. Lings looking for the surround on the Marines, but they're able to slip away, and another Widowmine. And a lot of the Queens are forced to engage. More Banelings taken out. The question will be, so it comes down to whether Clem reacts. Serral with the detail of having just that one Bane out in front. Essentially a scouting Bane. Does Clem see the Banelings? I think he noticed it. Yeah, he's chasing the Banes, which is an odd situation for Banes to... Well, he gets 2 Widowmines with the Banes. You gotta be real careful with those SCVs, but only 4 SCVs in total. So overall, a mediocre run-by. Serral does keep him busy. Infestation pit is on the way, but in the grand scheme of things, not particularly quick. The Lings, but there's no Banes. You need Banes. Or a Spore. A Spore helps out a lot, as the Medivacs can't overstay there and let him target everything down. The creep getting dealt with, but Clem keeping the pressure on. It's required here, though dangerous. Widowmine diffused. Clem has dealt with these Widowmines. Sorry. Serral has dealt with these Widowmines better than anyone I've ever seen since the last time I saw Serral diffusing Widowmines. I think we just missed one getting a big hit, but we're gonna pretend. It seems like every fight that matters, he's managed to mitigate the mine hits or straight up take them, turn them against Clem. And here's the how many Overseers has he lost this game? 0, which is not very many. That Widowmine hits home, and I think that mine actually saved the planetary. Oh my god, there's so many queens. He's got 10 queens, and he pulled them all. Serral always has a select all queens hotkey. And yes, that's done manually, of course. Hive is on the way, but Clem starting to get more and more success, reminiscent of the previous game. Can he convert it into a better position? As right now, I think this is the best spot he's been in the series. Pretty close to it. As he's got +3 on the way. Hive isn't even done. He's got 4 bases, more command centers, and a Ghost Academy in production. While Serral, while he has a good economy, He doesn't have that tech. He doesn't have much creep spread. He doesn't have the upgrades. So Clem is building up to a late game advantage, whereas Serral is at his weakest point yet again. Can Clem take this opportunity and potentially find some more success? And the Marines are just gunning down the lanes, but the Widow Mines take a big bite out of them as well. Clem ends up losing 20 supply while Serral maintains near 200. How many Marines did Clem kill? About as many as Serral managed to. Gold base on the way. Ooh, it's close. And there's a Nidus. 5 more How many Overseers? 9 Overseers for Serral. Vikings fighting Zerglings. Like a cinematic. Another army. The Hydra is providing a lot of range support here. Very helpful against the Widowmines especially. The Zerglings just trying to just stand still. Trying to chase it down, but reinforcements show up. And Serral loses most of those Zerglings. We'll replace them near immediately. But he doesn't have the bank. He's at 500, 500. He can make some lurkers. He can make another round of Banes, but he can't just do wave after wave. Slowly drifting across the map. No. Overseer headed towards the main. A conspicuous one at that. Clem kind of select army. He doesn't need vision for long. He throws the Overseer. Was that the first Overseer lost? Oh my god, Serral. And it was incredibly intentional. Just looking for an opportunity. He finds another opportunity. And here's the Nidus in the natural. Here comes some Ghosts to deal with it. Even SCV's pulled just to make sure. He's got to pop another Nidus, surely. A bio army to the north takes out one of the bases. Serral. There's the Viper. Throws out a parasitic bomb. Quarantines the medevac immediately. Gotta be a little careful to drift into it. Widow Mines coming in. And the parasitic bomb ends up killing 2. Looks like the Niduses were defused. Serral starting to build more of a bank here. A Nidus over to the left flank. Just something to keep Clem stressed out. But he's going for that mass ghost composition. Serral with the Spire and the Ultralisk Cavern. Just literally checking in the rest of the boxes in the tech tree. Widow Mine dragged into the Marines. Banelings rolling in as well. Planetary trying to get involved, but Serral's skirting it quite well so far. The Ghosts, a lot of the units protected here. Another army to the left flank, though. Serral isn't done, and this one has the Lurkers and the Vipers with it. Clearly where Serral intends on finding the most success. And the Overseer's moving forward. Lines up the shots with the Ghosts, but not enough of them to take out the Lurkers yet. They can easily get interrupted by the Lurker spawns if they're not covered. And Clem, oh, here comes Serral, finds an opportunity. Splits off just a few of the Banes, and actually ends up getting him taken out. More Banes coming in. Serral decided to commit to this base. He will get it. 11 SCVs with it. Lines up the shots, gotta be careful. Another attack. Marauders and Ghosts out in front to try to absorb the Banelings. The Banelings onto the Planetary. It's enough. Takes out another one. Both sides. He's chopped Clem off on both fronts. But Clem has more command centers to work with, and Serral has spent a lot in making this happen. He's lost 5,000 more minerals and over 1,000 more gas, which is not a game-changing amount, but if it continues, it certainly can be. 24 more Banelings, plus 2 ranged attack, plus 1 flyer attack being thrown in. Chitin is plating. Okay, now he's just pressing all the buttons. Like, it's like, all right, what don't we have here? 100%ing the Zerg tech tree is his goal. 8 boys in the pipe, 5x5. Yep. Perfectly safe out here. Nothing to worry about. Certainly no burrowed Zerg units, I would have told you. No problem. Keep it up. Meanwhile, more changelings coming in as Clem essentially turtling up here. Serral it doesn't appear he wants to leave him lie. Ooh, big Widow Mine hit, but not on the Banelings, which means Serral will continue to move through. Right-clicking the Banelings past, maximizing that biomass shield. And the Ghosts are exposed! So many of them going down to the splash damage of the Banes. He clumps up the Ghosts, not even a fungal there. But the Ghosts out on their own. More Lurkers coming in. The Widow Mines Serral trying to decide whether he wants it or not. That's an orbital. Not ideal for dealing with this. Clem bleeding out supply. He's getting more ghosts and more liberators, but Serral has a ridiculous economy right now. 3,500 minerals, 1,600 gas per minute. It won't last forever, but it doesn't need to if he's able to power through. Neural Parasite, chitinous plating. Serral lining everything up right now. And looking to knock Clem out. 3 infestors on the way. Serral has decided it's time for the ghost to die. And a parasitic bomb plus Widowmine does terrible, terrible damage to the medevacs. Oh, the Widowmine. The ghost count is so damn high, though. He might be able to take out one of these command centers. Trying to line up more shots. Baneling's rolling in. But there's no dealing with that many ghosts unless you're truly able to close the distance. Which, I assume, I'm pretty confident, is why the infestors are in production. With Burrow as well, bro. Burrow a little behind. 9 more lurkers. Clem just was not able to maintain the initiative. And now he's kind of forced into turtle mode. He's beaten Serral on this exact map before, in a scenario worse than this. But I don't think Serral is one of those players. Oh my god. Serral is not a player who makes the same mistakes. Sometimes more than none times. Which, you know, sounded more profound in my head. That's a lie. I don't think about things before I say them. Like and subscribe. Greater Spire on the way. Serral, a lull in his attacks as he waits. This is awkward. Well, the Nidus is done. Pulls the units out of position. There's some lurkers. Widowmine takes a bite, but Overseer looking for more. And Serral comes in with the main brunt of his force. A planetary to help out. The ghost at the back. Parasitic bomb. The ghost actually helping. The ghost might be enough to clean it up. Serral kills a planetary, but not much else. More ghosts lining up the shots. Knocks out the lurkers. And now Serral. He's got money in the bank. By no means is he in a bad position. But this is a position that, if he didn't have those infestors, I'd start to get just mildly concerned about. But the infestors are some... Well, there we are. I'm sure Clem knows it's not a matter of if, but when. They haven't been revealed yet. The infestors have been the game ender, the GG moment, in 2 games so far. Can Serral go 3 for 3? There is a Widowmine underneath. The timing. The fungal. It's too late. The Widowmine hit. The Banelings roll in. There's still an opportunity to move back, but the ghosts are already badly bruised. And there's another one. And there's another one. The fungal from the high ground catches a few, forces the rest to micro all the way back. It wasn't quite a game ender, but it looks like it cracked the base open. And the Zerg spill through. Serral flooding the field. A Nidus on top of everything. There's nothing to stop the Hydras here. Cutting down Liberators. He's gonna get some more. The Widowmine's going to hit. And Clem is not going to tap it out yet, but he loses a command center. The Nidus reinforcements, the lurkers, Zergling streaming through, and Serral is overwhelming with an absolute masterclass. In Zerg, well, Serral versus Terran. Another fungal, and Clem, GG. Good luck. But maybe not. Having so much fun. Wow. He's pretty good. I'm starting to think this Serral guy has a shot. It just never seems to be enough to keep him at bay. The choice on the timings of all the tech as well. I'd say write that down and try to copy it, but literally no one else can. It's not about playing... He plays relatively slow, but slow is smooth. And smooth is fast. Well, hopefully that showing made your day just a little bit better. I know, tough for the Clem fans out there, but Serral, again, pretty good. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, if you got the means of motivation, be awesome to check out Patreon. But I hear liking and subscribing is still free for now. And if you haven't yet checked out the second channel, streams, other games you might be interested in, Stormgate Zero Space, and of course, more StarCraft 2. You can check it out over there in the description. But wait, there's more. No, I don't know why I said that. That was supposed to be before the second channel thing. Either way, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Good luck. Have fun. Stay chill.